All right, women's 100-meter dash, day 2 of the Olympic Games. Man, it has been a whirlwind of the past couple days, even before the Olympic Games started. A lot of things had a lot of implications that, played a part when this, coming into this women's 100-meter dash. And just going to give you my thoughts, my recap, my opinion. I know so many people have definitely put out a bunch of videos leading up to every single second. Listen, I'm here at the Olympic Games. I'm covering for Citius Mag. Huge shout outs to Citius. If you're not following them, we have so much that's been going on over the past couple weeks where we're talking about, we have Torch Talk, recaps after every single session. We have, Good Morning Track and Field, give us a breakdown in the middle of each session. Check out our Twitter, check out our Instagram, YouTube, all that. But let me talk about this women's 100-meter dash. Now, coming into the race, we all wanted to see the top women in the world. We're talking about Shacarri Richardson, Julien Alfred, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Shericka Jackson, right? All these women were going to be lining up for the 100-meter dash in Paris here and going for what we would assume to be a legendary race. Only the likes of we're talking about 2012 Olympics, we're talking about, 2021 Olympics, right? Only a few Olympic Games have actually compared to what we expected to see. Now, before we get to, the results and all that, let me just play a little bit of a timeline just to kind of put the perspective for those of y'all who may not know. I know most of y'all do know, but let's talk about it, right? Shericka Jackson, check out the interview that I was able to get with her at the Puma House here in Paris. She announced that she was pulling out of the 100-meter dash because she wanted to make sure that her body was fully ready for the 200. Now, what does that mean? Well, on the surface, first we were all shocked and surprised, right? The big thing is that we saw her get injured at the Hungary Continental Tour meeting in that 200-meter race. She pulled up. She said it was a cramp. Still here in Paris, she said it was a cramp as well. But we can only assume that there's something that's going on. There's something more that's going on that would, force you to pull out of the 100 and only contest the 200. That brings up a lot of questions, again, also because we just haven't seen her. So that unfortunately was a huge, huge blow to the women's 100-meter dash. Jamaica brought in Shacarri Forbes. She competed. She, of course, didn't make the finals, so she wasn't able to progress through the rounds there. But so we were down to 2 women. Let's just say, of course, right? Fast forwarding. Now, as we got through the rounds, in the heats, right, we saw all the main players make it through between Sha'carri Richardson, Melissa Jefferson, right, TT Terry, Dean Asher-Smith, right, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Tia Clayton, Marie-José Talou. Everyone made it through. Sha'carri Richardson looked super comfortable. Julien Alfred, super comfortable. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, even though she finished second place in her heat, she looked extremely comfortable. Marie-José Talou, she had looked pretty good as well, but, we know that she has, unfortunately, some struggles when talking about going through the rounds. So for her to run that 10.8 in the heats, it was definitely bringing up a lot of questions. Regardless, everyone made it through to the semifinals. That, was relatively notable. TT Terry, Daryl Nita, all of them made it through. Now, as we get to the semifinals, this is the second round of controversy. First off, beforehand, we started to see some questions or some things floating around. Did Shelly-Ann pull out? Is she going to run? We saw these little videos coming up saying that she wasn't being let into the practice area because she isn't staying in the Olympic Village or something like that. Oh, man, all kind of crazy stuff. Now, fast forward, right, eventually she, we saw that there was a DNS on the start list. She pulled out of the 100-meter dash semifinals. That was a massive blow because Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is the GOAT of the 100-meter dash. Let me be clear. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is the GOAT of the 100-meter dash. So for her to pull out of the semifinals at her 5th and final Olympic Games, huge, huge blow. Huge, huge blow, and really took a lot of wind out of what was going to be, again, a legendary 100-meter dash at the Olympic Games here in Paris. Like I said, Shericka, now Shelly, both of them out. Now, as we go through the rounds, we see that Julien Alfred and Shacarri Richardson are in the same semifinal. Shelly was supposed to run that. Julien Alfred gets the win in that semifinal very comfortably. She was able to drop an extremely fast time in those semifinals and really lead the world going in and saying, okay, hold up. I can actually win this, right? She beats out Shacarri Richardson. I know that, Shacarri has been working on her start. She hasn't had like a really great start, but, maybe she had some room to be able to spare. In my mind, I still thought Shacarri might be able to catch Julien, but Julien was looking extremely, extremely good. So this is going to be exciting. Yes, Julien ran 10.84, Shacarri ran 10.89. So relatively close in the grand scheme of things. But now, when we look at the other semis, we saw a couple other women, right? Melissa Jefferson, 10.99. So she was looking very comfortable through the rounds. And then in the final semifinal, we saw Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton, this was a huge performance for her. 10.89 seconds. We saw Shericka pulled out. We also saw Shelly-Ann pulled out. We saw Shacarri Forbes. She didn't make it into the final. So Tia Clayton was the lone Jamaican who really had a lot of weight on her shoulders. Obviously, this is just round and round, but weight on her shoulders to finally get in, to make it into that final. She did it, 10.89, blasted from the blocks. Looked comfortable, looked good. Now, into this final. listen, let's just go top to the bottom. Julien Alfred. Huge shout outs to Julien Alfred for all the work that she put in. 10.72 seconds to not only get a personal best, right? Her previous best was 10.78. Not only get a national record, of course, for St. Lucia, but get St. Lucia's first ever Olympic medal in any sport at the Olympic Games in history. This is St. Lucia's first ever medal at the Olympic Games in any sport, and it is a gold medal for St. Lucia. Julien Alfred really proved that she had been putting some serious work throughout this past year to ensure that she was going to be ready for this gold medal. We actually spoke to her in the mix zone afterwards, and just for some context, I know a lot of people have been asking, oh, put out the interviews. Here at the Olympic Games, it's slightly different than the World Championships, where the Olympic Games run by the IOC, they don't allow you to record video in the mix zone. So you're not going to see those, post-race interviews that you see. You'll see them on like NBC and BBC and all those, kind of broadcasters, but you won't see them from us at Citius Mag or from other outlets, who are similar. So we're only allowed to record audio. So that's why I encourage you all to go follow on Twitter, on Instagram, right? We're going to be putting quotes up from the audios that we get. But regardless, spoke to Julien Alfred in the mix zone, and she explicitly said that I woke up this morning, right? The morning of the semifinals in the final, and knew I was going to win gold. She knew that she was going to win gold. She was so confident that she was going to win this gold medal, and she delivered on it. Again, first ever medal for St. Lucia at the Olympic Games in any sport, and it is a gold medal. Now, what did Julien Alfred just do? She won the 60-meter dash at the World Indoor Championships. She now has won the Olympic gold medal in the 100-meter dash outdoors here. She's going to be competing in the 200. She could really do some serious damage, where I think it's only equivalent to Maurice Greene. Maurice Greene in 1999, I think it was, he won the World Indoor Gold in the 60, he won the World Outdoor Gold in the 100, and he won the World Outdoor Gold in the 200. So he has like the trifecta in 1 year. Now, the 200 is going to be much more challenging for Julien Alfred. You have Gabby Thomas, you have a couple other women, so that's going to be a little more challenging, but she's making history here. Huge shout outs to Julien Alfred. She dominated. This race was not even close. Let's be real. This race was not close. 10.72 seconds. And right before the 100-meter dash final went out, I think a couple minutes before the shot put was going on, the triple jump, it started pouring rain. Absolutely pouring rain. I did not think anyone was going to be able to run fast. Julien Alfred disproved me. She delivered here. Now, like I said, this was not close. Why? Sha'carri Richardson, second place in 10.87 seconds. Sha'carri Richardson did not get a good start. So from where I was sitting, I'm sitting in the media zone, and I was like closer to the maybe like 30 meters into the race, so much closer to the start. Once I saw the start, 10 meters in, I was like, nah, she can't do it. Julien Alfred and Melissa Jefferson had got out like rockets, had got out like absolute rockets, and Shacarri was left in those blocks. And we see by the reaction times, 0.221 on her reaction. That is insanely slow, right? The next slowest reaction time here was 0.167 by TT Terry. So this is insane. This is insane how slow, Shacarri, started. She was left in the blocks, and she just could not make it up. Yes, we know Shacarri has insanely fast top-end speed, but it just was not going to be able to match what Julien Alfred was doing. One thing I wanted to also know about Julien Alfred is look at some of the different races that she had been running over the past couple years, over the past couple months, right, throughout the season, where in, I think it was the Prefontaine Classic, she had gotten a relatively poor start, but then she did have an extremely fast second half of the race to really deliver at the Prefontaine Classic in Eugene. But then she went to Jamaica, and I think she had an absolutely amazing start, and then she was able to, didn't have the greatest second half. And someone could fact check me. I could be, getting these mixed up, but essentially she had been, doing some different things in her races, not executing the full race. And check out the interview that I did with, Coach Flo while I was at NCAA's. Check it out on the Citius Mag YouTube channel, where he was actually talking about that, where he was waiting for the perfect race to kind of come together. This is what Julien Alfred did here in Paris at the Olympic Games, and it came together at the perfect time. Again, she woke up saying that she was going to win the gold medal, and she delivered it. Huge performance for her. Now, like I said, with Shacarri, her extremely slow start, but she was able to really execute in the second half to ensure that she got on the podium and got that silver medal. And I know I'm kind of talking about it in like a disappointing way, but let's really celebrate this, where this is her first Olympic Games and she got a silver medal. Not many people can actually say that. And I know that people are going to criticize, and there's already people saying like, oh, she didn't get gold, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. But I think the thing is, we maybe hold Shacarri to very high expectations because of the talent that she has, because she's been able to run 10.65, because she's been able to run, 10.6 a couple times, because she's a world championship gold medalist, right? Because she's been so, she has the She ran 10.75 when she was at LSU. So she has all these accolades, and she has, all this talent that she's been able to display. So I think we hold her to a very high standard and saying, oh, if she doesn't get gold, then, it's a disappointment. But regardless, I think that she really has a lot to celebrate here with the silver medal. Even though it's only, quote unquote, only 10.87 seconds, I think Shacarri really did deliver here for the most part, despite some setbacks in the races, right? That start has been hindering her all the way back to, the Olympic trials. So, didn't really put it together here. But regardless, silver medal at her first Olympic Games. She has a very bright future. Third place, Melissa Jefferson. Let's get to it because I am so happy for Melissa Jefferson. Melissa Jefferson has been locked in, focused, and really just aiming for this moment. This is what she's been working working towards for so long. 10.92 seconds to get the bronze medal here at her first Olympic Games. Think back to 2022, right? She was, quote unquote, an unknown at in the NCAA at Coastal Carolina. She got the gold, she got to win the NCAA title at the indoors in the 60-meter dash. She then went outdoors and she didn't win. Cross-check me if I'm wrong, but she might have gotten last place at NCAA's in the 100-meter dash outdoors. Then she bounced back to win USA's in a windy 10.6. And then she got last place at the World Championships in 2022. I asked her in the mix zone, how are you able to stay so upbeat, stay so happy? Check out the interview that I did with Melissa all the way back in 2022 after that final where she got last place. And she was, super excited because she's extremely young. This was the same emotions that she had here, if not tenfold, because she got the bronze medal here, because she was able to get on the podium at her first Olympics. Melissa Jefferson, she switched coaches from, over to Dennis Mitchell just this past year, and she has been delivering and hitting on all cylinders. Huge shout out to Melissa Jefferson, one of my favorite athletes who's competing right now. She's going to have an extremely bright future. So excited for Melissa Jefferson. Another one here, fourth place, Daryl Nita. Daryl Nita, 10.96 seconds, just missed the podium. Now, I know that people are going to say, oh, she didn't actually get on the podium, so you can't count it. Listen, I did a video a couple months ago saying that Daryl Nita has a chance to potentially get on the podium to win a medal at the Olympics. Again, yes, she didn't actually win a medal, but just to put in context, she got fourth place here. Daryl Nita got last place at the Tokyo Olympic Games. Last place in that 100-meter final. Almost as an unknown. Now she got fourth place. Listen, Daryl is going to be running the 200, so she might be able to really pick things up. Do not sleep on Daryl Nita. Huge shout outs to Daryl. Again, I spoke to her in the mix zone afterwards, and she was, she was disappointed, but just the idea that she got fourth place here, man, huge shout outs to Daryl. Huge shout outs to Daryl Nita. TT Terry, fifth place. Man, this was rough. 10.97 seconds. What this highlighted to me is that, well, I'll probably get to this a little bit, but I'm probably going to do a video on this, but Dennis Mitchell got 3 of his athletes into the 100-meter final. Someone could fact check me on this, but I'd need to look back to see when was the last time that we saw one coach get 3 of their athletes in the Olympic 100-meter final, either man or woman, right? We've seen it before where, Shelly-Ann and Elaine, they got into the final before, into the 100 meters, but they didn't have a third person. 2021, right? We had Elaine and Shericka. They were still with MVP, but Shelly-Ann had already moved to, Ronaldo Walcott, right, with Elite Performance. So, I don't know if we've ever seen 3 athletes from the same camp make the 100-meter dash Olympic final. Huge shout outs to Dennis Mitchell, right? Man, that guy is crazy. So, TT Terry, even though she only got, quote unquote, only got 5th place, this is her first Olympic final. So, huge shout out to TT Terry, man. Kambunji consistently making finals year after year after year. Again, only 6th place, right? She's one of the more experienced, she's been here for a while. Huge shout outs to Kambunji. She has that bronze medal from the 200 in 2019. So she definitely has a lot of accolades. Gold medal indoors in the 60 meters from 2022. Shout out to Mujunga Kambunji. Tia Clayton, she kind of, man, this is a big performance for Tia Clayton where, she's only 19 years old, first Olympic Games, right? First Olympic final. Right? Like I said, she ran 10.8 in the semis to win her heat. So regardless of her getting 7th place here in the final, I think this is a huge win for her. And the one thing that I will say is that Tia Clayton kind of saved Jamaica and kind of the consistency that they've had. This is the first time since 1988 that Jamaica has not won an Olympic 100-meter medal. The first time since 1988, right? You go back to Merlene Ottey, to Juliet Cuthbert, to, Veronica Campbell-Brown, to, Shelly-Ann and Elaine and Shericka, et cetera, et cetera. 1988 is the only time that Jamaica did not win an Olympic 100-meter medal. They did in 1984, which was the first time ever, but then 1988, I think Merlene Ottey made that final, but she finished fourth or fifth place, right? Someone could fact check me on that. But so Tia Clayton did actually get into the final, but we didn't see a medal. First time since 1988. Huge shout out to Tia Clayton, though. Again, she's extremely young and she has a lot of development to go. And then Marie-Josée Ta Lou, just man, so right before the final came out, we did hear that Ta Lou was a little bit injured or limping or something like that. She did line up for the final, but she wasn't able to execute. This was kind of tough to see her go down like this, because this may be her last Olympics as well, and you never want to see someone who's, again, in my opinion, one of my favorite athletes. A lot of these athletes are some of my favorite athletes, but Ta Lou has been here for so long. What, 2017, she got that silver medal. 2015, she got the, 2019, she got the bronze medal. She's been competing on the global stage, I think, since Beijing 2015. That was her first Worlds. Ta Lou is one of the greats, African record holder at 10.72. Huge shout out to Marie-Josée Ta Lou. Fell to the track, unfortunately, right after the race. Man, that was really tragic. But this was a legendary final. I think it was legendary because we saw so many different storylines entering the Olympic final. We saw so many things play out over the course of what we're talking about, 4 days at this point, since, you know, Shericka Jackson announced that she wasn't going to be competing. Man, Julien Alfred, St. Lucia's first ever Olympic medal in any sport. Gold medal, 10.72. Right, silver medal for Sha'carri Richardson, first ever Olympic medal for Shacarri, and 10.87 seconds. Melissa Jefferson, first ever Olympic medal, bronze in 10.92 seconds. Man, this podium was stacked. Even though the times didn't, we didn't get like 10.7s across the board like we might have predicted. There was pouring rain. This was an Olympic final that definitely had a lot of storylines. This was amazing. So let me know what you think about this, women's 100-meter dash final. We do have the men's, which by the time this comes out will be happening tonight. So definitely go in the comments. Let me know what you think. Man, this was crazy. And definitely check out all that we're doing on Sidious Mag. We have our, our Torch Talk, which comes right after the games are over every single night. Check that out on YouTube or Twitter, right? We're streaming it live there. Check out Good Morning Track and Field. That comes on, in the afternoon here in Paris, but in the morning for the United States, recapping the, the night before and then also the morning and all that. Check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, on all that. Again, we don't have video in the mix zone, so don't ask me about it, right? We have the quotes. Check out the quotes that we're posting, but we don't have video, so you won't be seeing that. But always appreciate y'all. We're going to have a lot more coming for the week, so thanks for watching, y'all.